right up to his very, very best. How close are we looking now at the best Messi, Jerry?
This guy plays a different game to any footballer I've ever seen. He's the greatest of all time in my opinion.
Messi is the most complete player I've ever seen in vision, in passes, in dribblings, in competitiveness, and in many things that is difficult.
Messi has been the best player in the world for the last 15 years, mesmerizing us with his unparalleled brilliance on the pitch. But at which point in his career was he completely at his best? If you were to ask any football fan, their response would probably include these three versions of Messi. 1. The 2010-2011 Messi. The young, energetic animal whose playing style involved quick accelerations with the ball directly at opponents, dribbling past them with unparalleled ball control and rapid direction changes, easily exploiting gaps and evading defenders, while also pressing high up the pitch. 2. The 2011-2012 Messi. The ruthless goal-scoring beast whose numbers were an anomaly that we'll most likely never see again in this lifetime. The same Messi that had Arsène Wenger calling him the greatest of all time at just 25 years. The guy who scored against literally every team in the league week in and week out, making sharp turns and weaving through defenders effortlessly, leaving them chasing shadows. And 3. The 2014-2015 treble-winning Messi, with the perfect combination of goals and team play, who had matured performance-wise, running less, using his energy intelligently, and less frequently taking on defenders directly, but notably dropping deeper on the pitch to find the team, as his passing and playmaking ability had greatly improved, blossoming into an even more complete player while still having the ability to score tremendous goals and run through an entire team. All these versions of Messi were spectacular as he won major trophies and individual accolades. But here, my main focus is the 2018-19 Messi, the more matured and pronounced player with exceptional playmaking abilities, keen vision, and pinpoint passing accuracy that created numerous scoring opportunities for his teammates. The Messi that often dropped deep to dictate the tempo of the game and collect the ball to initiate attacks, with impressive movement off the ball and constantly finding pockets of space to exploit defenses. This version of Messi wasn't just another year for him. It was the season where he shouldered the hopes of an entire club, a complete definition of a player single-handedly dragging a team to success, showcasing a level of individual brilliance that bordered on the superhuman. Unlike the seasons that came before, where he played with a great Barcelona team with the likes of Neymar, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, and Villa, capable of competing both domestically and in the Champions League. Barcelona entered the 2018-19 season with a dark cloud above their heads. When Enrique left, Barcelona became a shadow of its former self. They lacked the zeal and fighting spirit they once had and had clearly gone stale. Under Ernesto Valverde, Messi was allotted full freedom as captain, with which he made wine out of water. Whether as a second striker to the Uruguayan or the orchestrator from deep, he was dictatorial, strapping the team on his back and regularly carrying them to 3 points. Coming across more driven than ever before, he did everything that year, from running the midfield with little quick combos to even crunching into tackles as the front-footed defender. That season, they were without Iniesta, which made their midfield weaker than before as Rakitic and Busquets' powers were waning. Sometimes they lacked the creativity and control that defined Barcelona's playstyle during their peak years. The midfield at times failed to dominate possession or break down stubborn defenses, like in the game against Sevilla, where Messi had to drop deep, pick the ball, and orchestrate the play, himself scoring a hat-trick and providing an assist for the fourth goal. Also, in their quarter-final clash against Manchester United in both legs of the tournament, scoring 2 out of the 4-goal aggregate, and their semi-final clash against Liverpool at the Camp Nou, resulting in a 3-0 goal advantage, making them heavily rely on Messi as he took on the playmaker role, compensating for the midfield's occasional lack of inventiveness. Their defense was mediocre and past its prime as the likes of Pique, Alba, and Umtiti were inconsistent and lacked the pace needed to shut down younger, faster attackers, with lapses leading to conceding goals, especially in critical moments, like in their Champions League semi-final loss at Anfield. Messi would often drop deep to help control the tempo of the game and relieve pressure on the defense by retaining possession and dictating play. However, this didn't always work, as it also affected the poor tactical plans by manager Ernesto Valverde, whose tactics were too predictable and conservative, especially in high-stakes games. The team often lacked the dynamic and fluid attacking style that characterized their previous successes. This tactical rigidity resulted in an over-reliance on Messi's individual brilliance to break down defenses. The attacking unit had weakened after the departure of Neymar. While Luis Suarez was still a potent goal scorer, his form was unpredictable, and there was a lack of depth and quality in backup options. Coutinho, who was brought in with high expectations, struggled to find his best form, and Dembélé faced injuries and inconsistency, causing issues on the wings as they lacked a reliable winger to stretch defenses and provide width, often making their attack predictable. Messi, being Messi, tried to mask the vulnerabilities of the team's attack by taking on multiple defenders and making decisive runs, like in the UCL game against Lyon at the Camp Nou, where he scored 2 and provided 2 assists to win the tie. His exceptional dribbling and vision introduced a level of unpredictability, forcing the opposition to focus heavily on him, creating spaces and opportunities for his teammates, which often compensated for the team's tactical limitations. The team's morale and fighting spirit weren't really there, as they often threw in the towel after conceding goals in high-pressure situations, which was evident in their collapse against Liverpool, which highlighted a lack of mental toughness that led to several defensive errors as they struggled to cope with the pressure and the aura at Anfield. As much as Messi kept making decisive runs and inch-perfect passes that night, his teammates failed to capitalize on those chances, leading to a humiliating loss. Much was the same with their defeat to Valencia in the Copa del Rey final. As the team looked exhausted, the defense was exposed by Valencia's counter-attacking play, and the midfield was just poor. Adding to that, of course, were the stats. Messi's goal-scoring prowess was crucial in compensating for the team's inconsistencies. To put this into perspective, Messi scored 51 goals in 50 appearances that season, which at first may seem normal considering his high standards, but if you compare that with the other forwards, Suarez scored 25 goals in 49 matches, Dembélé scored 14 goals in 42 appearances, and Coutinho scored 11 goals in 54 appearances, which meant that he performed twice as hard as his other teammates, yet he was into his 30s and working further away from goal. His ability to score from various positions and situations made him an indispensable asset. Finishing the season with a remarkable 36-goal haul in 34 league games, he often single-handedly turned games in Barcelona's favor, and in the process captured both the Pichichi and Golden Shoe accolades. Like a man possessed at times, the man from Rosario showed no sign of slowing down. With 22 assists to his name, he was competing for the Playmaker award with the likes of De Bruyne, ensuring that even if he wasn't scoring, he was creating opportunities for his teammates and developing into one of the world's best passers. This one-man team had exceeded expectations by comfortably conquering the league, carrying them to the point where a third treble was on the cards. It all collapsed with the infamous Anfield semi-final, where the shaky pillars of the Blaugrana crumbled in a humiliating 4-0 loss, and another 2-1 loss to Valencia in the Copa del Rey final. So in my opinion, this must be the greatest individual season of any player in the history of football, as no other player has been able to do what Messi did that season. He didn't win much, but was able to salvage a La Liga title and Supercopa de España, all while having a struggling Barca side. You could argue that he was complete in the seasons before, but he was in support from other top players. So for goals, exciting dribbles and runs, playmaking and assists, the seasons before were better, but for solely carrying a crumbling team with a balance of all his attributes, the 2018-19 season is the best ever.